burned her. The wind burned her. The wind burned her. A little bit in the pool. The wind burned her. The wind burned her. The wind burned her. A little bit in the pool. The wind burned her. The wind burned her. The wind burned her. A little bit in the pool.
This is what I've heard about this show, and you guys tell me if I'm right or wrong, okay? This is just what I read on Reddit. Is that your audience has two groups. One is the Danaes, who don't like Danae, and then there's the Dayays. They say yay. They say yay.
Danaes.
The yays.
Hey, like that? Wait. Hold on.
I was like,
hold on.
Honestly, that's just incredible that I would have.
we don't have
Yeah.
fans. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
You were like, oh, he's making something up. He's saying that there's
Mhm.
a Reddit.
Yeah. We're like,
No.
that's not true.
I was like, we don't have enough.
out of how many episodes are we on right now?
This is 129.
100
I think I've been on 5.
Oh my
And there's
god.
also the
That would
And-
be
and you-
incredible.
And you have the audience so divided already.
Just-
Yeah.
She's
God,
divisive.
I
She's
hate-
our religious correspondent. That's why, you know,
Mhm.
divisive topic.
speaking of, there's a third sect that's the Danaes. That's just really into horses and
Right.
Yeah, horse girl.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
horse
right.
girls.
yeah.
Big,
Yeah.
big portion of the audience.
Yeah. They're a small but loud portion.
Yeah, you know.
There's the Dayays also, who they're the swastika shirted group.
Yeah.
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 And,
Oh
then
yeah.
and they just do a lot of cocaine.
They
So-
do. They're on
Yeah.
nitrous. They're on that nitrous.
And you guys can't forget about the whip and Danaes, right?
Oh,
You know, don't
yeah,
forget that
uh-huh.
small group of people.
we did forget because that was like 10
Yeah, they
years
used.
ago or
I was gonna
something.
say, yeah, they're like really into like using dated references.
The dated.
Very
Yeah.
Oh god,
Uh,
beautiful.
Okay,
Good times.
well, let's actually start.
Indeed.
It's episode 129. Vinane Blather. Very
Mhm.
special episode.
Very
Um,
special.
very special episode for very special people. We want to bring in to the fold to join our group of
Headstrong, stubborn, quibbling, self-centered, vindictive, obnoxious, hormonal, sexually preoccupied, evil, thieving, cross-dressing jerks.
our Lord and Savior, Mr.
Mhm.
R.M. Brown, the one who kind of inspired us to get on to just doing creative endeavor and doing a
Mhm.
podcast.
Like, if he can do it, anybody can do it. You know,
Oh my-
like that kind of
so-
attitude.
that's-
So true.
That's not
so
what
true.
it was, but
So true.
I would say inspired us to do the soundboard thing. You could say got me to rip off the style of doing a soundboard, but
Mhm.
you know,
that would be more
Oh,
accurate.
that's a long ripped off. That's a
I was
rip
gonna
off
say,
of a rip off of a rip off. Yeah, for
yeah, I'll
sure.
say that's drive time radio, right? So
100. 100. Yes.
well, what I mean, you could say that's yeah, people have done that, but it wasn't really. I feel like that wasn't really definitely not a much of a thing in, like, I don't know, politics, YouTube stuff. I mean, every once in a while you
The
see that
soundboard?
come up, yeah. But what made you start doing that just right off the bat? That just comes to mind as a question.
For me, yeah, like drive time sports talk radio, but actually like the Majority Report when they were on
Yeah.
AM radio, they kind of like
Mm.
hinted at they were going to do that kind of stuff to make fun of sports talk drive time radio, and then they kind of just like stopped doing it. Which is a shame because, you know, it's funny to like
Yeah.
imitate that stuff. And
Oh
it's ju-
yeah.
And it's such a comedy cheat. like anything out of like playing.
Oh, we know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's I mean, the whole premise of this show, I mean, it's in the title. It's inane blather. There's zero preparation. There's zero research. It's just things that we've been thinking about for the past week, or maybe following up on whatever we were talking about before. Usually no follow up because it's good. It's easy to go on tangents about whatever's been going on and stuff, but just filling in to get going. Lots of times I'm just kind of looking at the soundboard and being like, because we all know that
Natalie hates non-binary people,
and we don't want to have
Dead air.
so we'll just keep, and just start filling it in until something's funny, and then
Yeah.
Natalie will say something that'll be a springboard. So, but
Perfect.
but you do it really well, of course, and there's something.
He probably does some
to having a
preparation for his
niche-
show.
Yeah, there's something to having a niche thing in there that the audience can glom onto. That's really funny.
Oh yeah.
But
for sure.
we started. I don't know. It really got to me when I started watching your show and liked the soundboard stuff, of course. And we and I already kind of liked doing audio editing, making music at home on the Mac and stuff. So I just started cutting out the soundboard drops that you used, just so that instead of speaking them like many people in your audience say they do on a day-to-day basis, where they'll say weird or whatever, daddies are stronger than mommies now, or whatever. Toilets. And so I could use them in WhatsApp messages back and forth with Natalie. So I just cut them out so that I could just use those. And I was like, you know what? We just make our own. And we were talking about doing a podcast. So I was like, well, I'm not just going to use RM Brown's, but like you could see, we have a couple of your old ones in our soundboard on Discord.
Hell yeah.
Because
Beat a kid in
left over from
Walmart.
them. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
That's an honor. That's an honor.
Oh, yeah.
I think like if you play enough clips, like if you just like find stupid videos and watch them enough, the stuff the stuff that you can take out of context is just gonna like happen, and it's gonna become like a meme, at least in your world, So just keep playing dumb videos. I would say.
Oh, sure.
You'll find them.
Aye.
It's not going to take. It's not going to take
At
too
the
much
No.
prodding.
No,
At
not
the
all.
show we went to, I just wanted to say Umberto, my partner, they use the restroom after the show, and there's like, it's like at a theater, so it's like a shared restroom, and they were like, it was borderline like insufferable how much people were just being like toilets like afterwards.
That's amazing. I mean, yeah. I'm surprised that Zizek hasn't been like memed as much. I mean, he has, but like maybe not as much as he should be, because he says so much funny shit,
Yeah.
So
He's more of like a if you know then you know kind of guy. Like he's not like he's not exactly like a dreamboat getting out there, like going to be on TikTok, like attracting people,
He's,
Unless you're into that.
He's my Timothy Chalamet, I would say.
Yeah, that's true.
He's the one I'm having dreams about. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. I mean, you could say that he won that debate against Jordan Peterson, but Jordan Peterson is the one that's still in the mainstream. So that's the unfortunate thing.
Yeah, definitely a better self-promoter. Definitely a better marketer. And
relentless, some would say.
Relentless.
That's the unfortunate thing about the right-wing capitalist promotion.
He's actually, I mean, his videos are hard for me to watch because he's pretty boring guy, to be honest. But like, he uploaded a video because Trump has been I guess like a bunch of people have been talking about Canada becoming the 51st state, and he's Canadian. That guy's Canadian. So you think he
Mhm.
might come out and do a video
Yeah.
where he's like, I don't know about that. He uploaded probably one of the funniest videos I've ever seen where he basically said, you know what? Canadians are kind of annoying. So yeah, take Canada. It's honestly one of the craziest, just most
Jeez, what?
demented things I've ever seen. That was literally his case, was that like Canadians think they're cool. They think they're too cool. Take Canada. It's yeah, he's
They
yeah,
think they're too cool to invite me to parties and stuff, you know? So just like take them.
yeah,
That's
it's his case. I mean,
You know what?
I-
I'm done with you guys.
yeah,
I'm going home.
yeah.
this is where all my friends are in America. Everyone likes me over here. They're
I was
too
gonna say
stupid to know better.
he really just knows his audience very well, and it's just American men. So
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
you
yeah.
go.
Exactly. They can expound like a personal story. Like someone in Canada was rude to Jordan Peterson, and they can expand that into an entire
personality.
empire building colonial
Yeah.
project.
Personal ideology.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's what makes them the greatest leaders, you know,
Yeah.
in history, I would say.
Yeah,
If-
totally.
If not more than that. Yeah.
Totally.
So how do you think?
I
Oh, go ahead.
I actually did want to ask you something that I was thinking about, because I know Mr. Brown is, from what I've gathered, anyways, like pretty. I don't know if you're like pretty well read or like you're like into film. You're pretty cultured. Heard you call yourself a Renaissance man. You know,
Yeah.
is that
I-
true?
Or at least we call
Yeah.
it that.
I say that to
But-
strangers all the time.
Yeah. I'm what you'd call a Renaissance man.
can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, I was talking about it before the pod about a kind of a famous Washington author. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. His name's Tom Robbins.
Yeah.
He was 92. He passed away yesterday, and he's like actually that
R.I.P.
cat that I showed you on my bed there, Marcel. He's named after a character in one of his books. He's like a Washington guy. Like a lot of his books take place in Seattle. So I was just going to ask if you'd ever heard of him, actually, and put you on the spot. Tom Robbins. He wrote Even Cowgirls Get the Blues, probably the
Right.
most famous one because it was made into a movie. That's
Yep.
what I thought maybe you'd know.
Yep.
And yeah, and to plug, I just really wanted to shout him out on the podcast, actually, because I cried this morning. I really did. It's like I know you just did like a show for who's the filmmaker that just
David
recently,
Lynch.
David Lynch. And I was thinking about how strange it is to just like really be like, wow, bummer, man, Tom Robbins. He changed my life, like genuinely. Like I really love his book, Jitterbug Perfume. It's about being a hedonist, essentially. And I just was wondering if you had ever heard of him, and I just really
Yeah.
wanted to shout him out. Since you're
No,
here.
Tom Robbins.
I've heard of
Yeah.
Tom Robbins. I've never actually read any of the books, but I think
Mhm.
if I'm remembering correctly, it's Gus Van Sant did the Even Cowgirls Get the Blues movie.
That's true.
One of the
Mhm,
great
with Uma Thurman.
with right. One of the great American directors for sure. Like top 10 minimum. But yeah, I know he's one of the great Tom Robbins is one of the greats. I should actually like learn to read and read one of those books. Like, so
Yeah.
you're right, you're recommending. You're saying it's worth
I
worth
would-
reading.
I would recommend Jitterbug Perfume is my favorite of his books. It genuinely like there's a passage I just posted on Instagram about like desire and like you know about instead of it's like pretty anti-organized religion or whatever, you know,
Okay.
in a fun philosophical kind of romp. It's like about immortality and all this, and it's like this passage that always stuck with me back when I read it as a teenager was like it's not about avoiding desire. It's about like trying to obtain it, and like how saying you know, hiding your head in a prayer cloth or whatever he says. No, I can't do it justice, and I'm not going to read it on here. But once you learn to read, it'll be totally worth it for
Yeah.
reading Jitterbug Perfume, because also his vocabulary and prose is
Yeah.
It is like delicious. I would really highly recommend it.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, I know.
in honor of
He's
him.
really comforting.
okay. I know he's beloved, and you're selling
Mhm.
Jitterbug perfume. So I will. You know
Yeah.
what? I will make a promise. I will make a promise on record that I'll read it.
On record. We got it?
It's
All
on
right.
record.
Cut. That's
Oh,
a wrap.
man.
Yeah.
It's on record.
Wow.
Mhm.
Hold on.
Gonna hold you to it.
Well, I mean, I'm a skinny legs and all guy. I've read that book twice, but I haven't read Jitterbug.
Boo!
So yeah,
It's just fun.
Okay.
yeah. But when it comes to books,
I love Karl Marx.
so that's what I'm into. So he's got to bring it back to the soundboard. No,
I've heard of him.
well, I think, and that's the thing, right? You read a lot, though, RM Ryan, but it
Maybe.
seems like you read nonfiction more, right? So if you got to take a diversion to
Yeah.
some fiction to
For sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There you go.
to just
Mhm.
relax a bit,
Okay.
Well,
treat
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah.
My question, to bring it back to the guest, is Ryan, do you have any books that you've read in your life that have impacted you, like Jitterbug perfume has impacted Natalie?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Is there anything you can think of?
Wow. Good question.
Harry
Good.
Potter.
Good
Mein
question.
Kampf? Yeah.
Obviously, two of the tops right there. Two of the tops.
J.K. Rowling
Took the word.
and the other guy.
Yeah. Not J.K. Rowling's books, but her like tweets for sure.
Yeah.
More
I read
have a
those to
bound
fall asleep
copy.
too.
Vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some books that have impacted me? God, that's a good question.
This is a job interview, by the way.
Yeah. I've been rereading a lot of Mike Davis's stuff. I think he's really smart. Mike Davis. Who else is really good?
Who's Mike Davis? What's that about?
He wrote a book called City of Quartz, which is about LA. He writes a lot about California. Really
Cool.
good, really good like analytical stuff.
Liberal elites.
Liberal elites. Yeah.
So it's Mike
Mhm.
Davis, the American writer, not Mike Davis, the former California state representative.
Different guy. Different guy.
Okay.
Different, yeah.
Okay.
I like some of the stuff that's maybe a little like whatever. Like I like Joan Didion, like some of her
Mhm.
stuff. She wrote a book about Miami that's lesser celebrated. That's really good. Goes
Mm.
into, I don't know. I grew up reading like Chomsky and stuff. I think Chomsky's a pretty good writer for that kind of stuff. Wow, what else? What else do I like? God damn it.
I can't believe
You
you
love it when someone puts you on the spot.
Have you heard much about the? I just got
the
Matt
Book of
Christmas-
Mormon.
Book of
Yeah.
Mormon.
Yeah.
The Bible.
The
Golly.
Bible, hello. That's supposed to be the go-to answer for anyone put on the
Yeah,
spot. You
come
know,
on.
hey, the Bible.
The Gospel
Mhm.
of John, Luke, Mark.
Yeah, I blew that one.
Sorry. That's
Obviously.
okay.
Yeah, there is a right answer when we
Maybe-
ask you these questions.
I just got the Matt Christman No Pasaran Spanish Civil War book in the mail the
okay.
other day.
Oh, nice.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd heard much about it or any feedback or reviews and stuff, but it seems really cool so far. I wish I could say like, whoa, I have, critique or analysis or review, or I think it's good, and that would mean anything, but I don't read it. So, but it seems really great. And that was, but Matt Christman, of course, he seems pretty, seems like he knows his stuff. And a lot of it was just him speaking it as a podcast, like a long series, and then it got written out after he had his stroke and stuff, and then edited into a book.
Right.
Even just the forward was like really kind of cool, kind of touching. The producer of Chapo Trap House wrote the forward and stuff. It was kind of neat, but that was it looks pretty neat. And I was thinking, I was like, wow, I'm finally gonna get back to reading a nonfiction kind of book.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
No,
can
that's
feel
a good
smart.
one. I mean, yeah, the Spanish Civil War, obviously, like, important, and he seems, from what I've heard from him, he seems pretty into it. Like
Oh yeah,
he's gonna give a concise, well thought out telling,
real
historical telling of
history
that.
nerd.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's another good book. Actually, I just remembered this. There's a book. It's kind of interesting. It's very big. It's very long. It's called Terrible Honesty, which is about New York in the 1920s. And from what I remember, let me try to remember, like, the thesis of this book is basically like writers in the 20s wanted to like escape or project like a brutal honesty of the world, like they were giving you reality. And it kind of goes into that. It also goes into like Edward Bernays, sort of like manipulative advertising and stuff like that. It's a really interesting book, actually. It's a bunch of kind of like and a lot of it just goes into these like anecdotes from 1920s New York. It's actually really, if anybody wants sort of a weird book, check out Terrible Honesty too.
Weird book sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, for a podcast that has a section talking about books,
that went slightly better than the worst it could have possibly gone.
No,
Nice. Yeah.
What were you looking up, Natalie? I saw your screen flash really bright.
Oh yeah, it's because I opened up the New York Post just to see kind of what people were saying. I'm kind of disappointed. I don't know if you know much more about this, Mr. Brown, but something I appreciate about your show is you kind of like will dive into some of these cases that are like going on. Like this seems like something that I would have learned about maybe on your program, is about this Eric Adams like bribery case. Like what's going on? Like what is this all about? But I was hoping that the New York Post comments would be open, this comment section, but it's not. So that's usually what I read about.
Well, this is from New Yorkers, from my New Yorker friends. I think this might be the...
Nothing like a good New York slice.
Yeah,
nothing like a good New York slice. Nothing like a good New York slice.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
the goal for Inane Blather is getting that sound, that when people go to the bathroom after one of our shows, they'll just be standing around saying,
nothing like a good New York slice.
Nothing like a good New York slice.
That's our toilet.
Yeah, exactly.
And the best take I've heard on Mayor Eric Adams is that like New York City politics is basically going to be super corrupt no matter what. So at least, at very least,
worse.
At least Mayor Eric Adams is like kind of hilarious. So that's, I guess, the funniest take that I've heard so far, because he is. I mean, there's so many. Just that video where he's like, "Hey, you got to search your kid's room because there might be a crack pipe in the back." I mean,
there's a gun.
Yeah,
God, that was a good one.
He's accidentally like one of the funniest people ever, and just no awareness of like what's going on. But yeah, I don't, that it's New York. He's a New York City slice, that guy.
Yeah.
Slice of
There's
heaven.
nothing like him.
Nothing like him.
Nothing like him. Yeah.
That's how he's like, there's the New York is the, what is it? Is the Istanbul of America. And then he's like, New York is the Dublin of America. New York is every single city that he goes to.
He just goes through every country.
Every single city.
It's the Ho Chi Minh City of America.
It's like, okay. Yeah. I think they might have seen that one coming.
I really loved the war on the rats when that was happening.
Oh yeah.
How he was like, I'm gonna kill every rat in New York.
Yeah,
the rat czar.
The rat
czar.
Like,
what?
Yeah.
Well,
what a resume builder.
Oh yeah.
That was the rat czar.
I would love to put that on my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Well, if there's one thing that New Yorkers can't take, it's rats. If there's anything, I'm not a fucking rat. All right.
Not a rat. I'm never gonna rat. Hey, whoa, what do you think I'm a rat over here? Hey.
You could say
'Cause I'm
anything
living
about
on the
me.
street.
Don't call me a rat.
I got a joke. I guess that was an Italian accent. You guys want to hear my Italian joke?
Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
How do you get an Italian to keep a secret?
How?
Tie their hands behind their back.
Come
They
on.
speak with their hands a little bit.
Because they gesture, yeah.
gesture.
They're all deaf. Yeah.
They gesture a lot. They move their hands around. They're moving their hands.
The silence.
I know. It took
That's
me.
how you know a joke. That's how you land a joke right there.
That's how you land a joke right there. This is what it sounded like right here.
Oh wow,
man.
thank you for that.
You know what? I swear there is something to be said about you and your technical issue things.
Yeah.
I think
You're talking-
OBS has stopped working twice already. I don't think I have a good video for this entire thing.
OBS.
I don't know.
It's a little, it's a little
Got
buggy.
the Midas touch. Yeah.
I mean, he's not on video anyway. It's fine.
Yeah. They need
get
to
it.
see us.
I
Hey.
was gonna have a
Audio
little
only.
backup here.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Audio
I guess
only.
so. Wow. Well, I'll piece together something. But
Do
It'll
some
be
Will Smith
fine.
eating spaghetti AI kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Just do like a screenshot of like the most weird faces that we all make. Make sure you cut them
Yeah.
out, right? And then that will just be
I'm gonna use
the
AI
video.
to
Yes.
fill in. The
Use
blanks.
AI. Do that. Yeah.
So
You know what? I have actually like maybe a little bit of a cringy book that I like.
Ooh,
I'm
let's
bringing
hear it.
I'm bringing it
Still
back to the
thinking
books.
Yeah.
I'm bringing it back to
We're
the
back to
books.
books.
Yeah.
It was a good question.
I already
Yeah.
derailed your guys' podcast with my joke. Now I'm gonna further just drive this thing off a cliff. I have been reading Rick Rubin's book about creativity, and I gotta say, I got my problems with Rick Rubin, but it's actually pretty good.
What is it
That's
called?
interesting. Yeah.
Rick
called, like, the
Rubin's autobiography.
No, he's just
Oh.
he's. You know what I don't like about him is that he's a little bit of a guru. He comes off as a guru-ish guy, but it's called The Creative Act, and he is actually very good at talking about like the creative process stuff. So anybody
Those who can't do. Yeah.
yeah, it just says give up, don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much work.
It's like,
You know,
no one's ever gonna be as good as me.
Yeah, God.
to be less funny, I will say, so context for the listeners here, I never watched anything by R.M. Brown before I went to the show. I was there to support.
Mhm.
But you
Nice.
did say something that I was like, oh, that's so interesting, because I have been working on music for like the last couple of months now. And you said something about, it was like when you're creating, you just do a bunch of stupid stuff. Just
Yeah.
keep making it, even though it sucks and it's shit. Like, just keep making it. And I was like, that's smart. I like
I
that.
think no, honestly, like the like if I've learned one thing, you know, if I could like tell my kids or whatever, like what did you learn from 5 years of doing this, is that like if you sit down to try to think of like funny stuff or the perfect thing, it's actually really hard. Like if you just start doing it, like you honestly just like stumble across the funniest or like the most interesting stuff. It's almost like
Some people do.
Yeah. No, that's true. But it's like, I think it just makes the whole thing easier if you're just like, okay, like I'm just gonna do this. You just like trip into stuff, you know? Like I think that's it, you know? Like it's literally just, I don't think at least my brain has the capacity to like plan everything, you know?
Yeah.
So it's
Mhm.
like you just start doing it, and then like I think probably with music that probably happens a lot, where it's just like let me just start playing something or piecing something together, and then you'll just end up in a totally different, better place or something. Maybe.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
If you're gonna make funny music, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, I mean, just even anything. I feel like I will be I won't have something unless I hit record at some point, right?
Yeah.
Like that's literally anything you make. So like I can try to like do a bunch of stuff. I will forget it by the time I hit record. So
Mhm.
it's like I might as well just hit record. It's gonna be a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
And then maybe there's like a little nugget in there and it's great and golden and it's not shit anymore. And then it turns back to shit again. But I can still cut that out, you know? So,
Yeah.
And then you work. That's the thing that's got legs right there. That's what Kelsey says that all the time about. Just like we need to write it down because then you're like, I'll remember it later.
You
won't.
don't. Never.
You really
Absolutely
can't.
not.
Yeah. That's and well, to shout out R.M. Brown and actually Kelsey. That's my. We used to live together, and I think Doug actually tweeted you one time of like seeing someone like, oh, out in the wild. My friend, made her a shirt that says, "The lobster he pinched me, he take my ATM pin."
Oh yeah, I saw
from
that.
your song, Music Pop. Yeah, that's my friend Kelsey that was wearing that, and she wanted to say. I mean, I texted her that you were on, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing!" But yeah, what was the inspiration for that song, which I now can't find on YouTube anymore? I don't think. But
Yeah,
Music Pop.
I was gonna change. I was gonna like just start that channel over again, but I don't know. Maybe I'll put it back up. But
I saw it was kind of updated.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
Kelsey's like, it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. She said that thing with you with your shoes half on. She like could not stop laughing.
Yeah,
so thank you for making that. I'll shout her.
Yeah,
out
I
for
think
you.
I think it was just like the Serge Gainsbourg kind of stuff where it's like those kind of era of singers who would be like smoking all the time. I was just thought it would be funny if like
Life Aquatic.
Yeah. Like what if a guy is like smoking like too much in a music video? Like
even for a European or something.
Yeah.
No
Exactly.
such thing.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's funny. I saw a big argument on Twitter between, of course, just like regular people and a bunch of right-wing
a denier and a dene.
Yeah, between the yays as in Kanye.
The Civil War continues.
Yeah. Good old Twitter Civil War type stuff. But about like some people like someone took a video of some people of color, immigrants on a Parisian train, in Paris or something. And like they put their feet up and they were smoking in the back of the train car. And they're like, we can't give these people an inch. They're taking over. Europe needs to keep these people out or something. And everyone was just like, this is the most French thing I've ever seen in my life. It's like this guy just put his feet up and started smoking. What are you guys talking about? Where's his baguette? That's the only thing that's missing. And
there's a little espresso.
There's no response to that.
Aren't these people? Aren't those the people who get mad at immigrants? Aren't they the ones who are always talking about assimilation? I mean,
yeah.
Oh, you got it, and you're still mad. Come on.
Yeah, aren't you proud of your culture? Come on.
There's no winning with these people. Come on.
Yeah, he should be mad at you for pulling out the cell phone. That's not. That doesn't seem like a very French thing to do.
Come on. Give it a rest, guys. Jeez.
So do you still have your Daily Wire Plus account? Are they doing anything on that?
I don't know if I even still have that live or active. I don't really know what that. I was hoping they would make more movies because their movies are pretty bad.
Yeah, I feel like they're really dropping the ball. They came.
Who was
out
the lady they had? What's the lady's name? She was an MMA fighter. Shit.
Is it Rhonda?
Gina Carano.
Oh, Gina.
They did a movie with Gina Carano where they were like, we're gonna do a
prairie one.
Yes, the prairie one, which is actually it's not a bad premise for a Western where it's basically she's, living a difficult life on the prairie, and then some kind of bandits come, and it's this woman alone trying to defend herself from this bandits. Great. Great premise, I think.
Terror on the Prairie.
Terror on the Prairie. It was still like kind of unwatchable because they're just bad at making art,
Yeah.
But like
which
Gina
is why they're doing the Daily Wire instead of making art.
yeah, exactly. I wonder if they got her on some kind of a contract or something, because if anybody wants to watch a movie that's probably been forgotten, Gina Carano was in a movie called Haywire from maybe the early 2000s. And she really, honestly, I think could have been a great like action movie star. I mean, I guess she kind of was in the Star Wars thing.
Yeah, in The Mandalorian. I liked her.
Haywire has some of the most like artistically kind of perfectly shot fight scenes ever done. It's a Steven Soderbergh movie. It's kind of a shame, I guess, her career well, how do do you say that? How do you say
trajectory? It's tragic trajectory. Trajectory.
That's 2 words in one.
Oh, she's like the star of this movie, huh?
She's the star. Yeah, it's sort of a rogue intelligence agent kind of movie. Kind of silly.
Jeez. Channing Tatum, Michael Fassbender, Michael Douglas, Antonio Banderas, Ewan McGregor.
Michael Fassbender's up there. There's like a 10-minute scene of Michael Fassbender and Gina Carano in a hotel room fighting, and it is one of the best choreographed fight scenes of all time.
Cool.
And she really screwed up just hating trans people.
These
people just throw their careers away. And
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
That and and of course just COVID and the
that fake virus, is that what you're gonna say?
Just scrambled some people. It's really funny. Drea De Matteo was on the Adam Friedland show, and it was such a great interview. I loved it so much. And then of course
she's from The Sopranos.
Yes. Yeah. Adriana from The Sopranos. And of course she was in like that kind of short film that Nick Mullen and Adam Friedland did from a few months back. She was great. And it's like, but she hasn't really done much. And then you see at the very, very end of the interview that Adam kind of broaches the subject, and it's like, oh, she's a COVID nut job. She totally is.
Right.
It's like she's probably impossible to work with.
Yeah.
Like, it's so unfortunate. Like
she seemed like, especially in that interview. I mean, I've seen a couple things with her, and she seems like fun. I mean, the impression that I get is, I mean, it's weird. It's a weird time to live in where it's like there's just like endless rabbit holes just waiting for you to fall. And I don't, I mean, she seems like a nice person and all that, but like, I don't like, is Drea De Matteo gonna read like peer-reviewed studies and stuff? Not really. She's gonna like listen to whatever podcast pops up on her feed, and if the people sound convincing enough, she's gonna believe it. It's
for sure.
I mean,
and then once she has the means to start her own, she started some fashion company.
Yeah,
it's based around like your personal liberty to not have to get a shot or something like that.
Yeah.
Then it's like, then it all goes from there.
I wonder if Drea De Matteo and MIA are friends, because they're it's a very similar vibe. I feel like somebody needs to make that connection.
They could be very fashion forward together too.
Absolutely,
they could do that.
Yeah,
collab. And Gina Carano should have gone that way instead of with the Daily Wire. Absolutely, because she'd probably be a on better footing instead of, I was looking up, I couldn't remember the exact numbers. I didn't want to get it wrong, but of course, Terror on the Prairie, the film grossed $804 during its one-day U.S. theatrical release.
Yeah.
Right.
Made a profit.
And it had a limited theatrical release. So it says the worldwide theatrical release means that it opened in the UAE and Russia. So that's where it grossed a total of $13,115. Yeah. So it was what, Dubai and Russia, I guess. So, but oh boy. I mean, hey, I can't judge too much. I mean, it would be great if the Inane Blather podcast made $13,000. It would be great if the Inane Blather podcast made $805.
$800. Yeah.
But we also didn't have to pay Gina Carano a paycheck. So
yeah. There's gonna be more and more of that, of people starting their own little like movie studios, or whatever,
Micro celebrities.
Yeah. Another. I was just talking to somebody about. I think I might have talked about it on a video too, but this guy Daniel Bessner, he's a writer, but he also, he writes articles for like Harper's and stuff. He did an article called "The Life and Death of Hollywood." Hollywood is like an interesting. I'm like super interested in what's gonna happen there, because it's like it's becoming. I mean, with after the fires and stuff too, it's like it's becoming a new kind of impossible to like make it as a writer in Hollywood. So it's gonna get more and more fragmented, I think, and more people are gonna find these like micro audiences and maybe like little mini networks of podcasts and videos and stuff.
Start a YouTube show with soundboards and
crazy people.
Find
head bonked individuals.
Fans.
Yeah.
When are you guys?
These people are sick.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I just imagine that even like with AI probably being used more and more by like the larger studios, on top of all of the other stuff that was like coming along, like as far as like writers are concerned, I'm sure it's just basically dead.
It's gonna be. But I remember. Patton Oswalt had a joke where he was like, "Why don't they just?" Because what they do is, well, what he's saying they used to do is like, somebody would write a script and then they would get like, a whole bunch of people, and then like executives would come in and change the script, so he's like, why don't they just get homeless people to write the first draft of the script, and then they can like get some money, and then because they're just going to totally change the script. I think you're totally right. Like, why not just
words on the page?
Yeah, like why not just they probably already are just AI generating first drafts, and then they will hire contractors for as little as they can possibly pay them to punch the script up. That I don't know why that wouldn't happen, especially when you have when you have Comcast owning everything, like, and it's all about stock price and all that stuff. Why would you not cut every possible
and that's your kind of like dream future, right? You're like a real capitalist kind of guy, right?
That's exactly
like
what
stock prices
you want.
and all that kind of stuff.
I'm a private equity. I'm a private equity guy all the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
100%.
Mark Andreessen. Yeah, Mark Andreessen.
That's my man.
Poster.
That's my man right there. Mark Andreessen is so
Sugar
funny.
daddy.
It's like if you wanted to come up with a guy to make you like more suspicious of billionaires, I feel like you would AI generate Mark Andreessen.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like
First draft.
This shows why meritocracy doesn't exist and capitalism is wrong.
Yeah.
This proves Ben Shapiro's point of why
capitalism is bad.
That's on the soundboard. So
True.
But have you oh gosh, it just made me think too, because you were joking about that. But the RM Brown program
heard
introduced me to haven't heard of it. Haven't heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
What is that?
Sorry. But introduced me to the name Yanis Varoufakis. And just recently was talking about techno feudalism. Have you read his recent stuff on that? It is so depressing, honestly. And like how it seems like that is exactly where we're headed. Like, because everything, of course, will just be corralled with AI taking all these jobs. All of our information is in the cloud, and that is like our value and worth on the marketplace that all exists on the internet, and everything that's really, I mean, valuable property now all exists digitally, and none of it's owned by us and stuff. Oh, it's the worst. Man.
Yeah.
And you have dumbasses like Mark Andreessen or all the guys that are in charge, and Elon Musk. Oh man, it's not a very bright future. I don't even know why I brought it up.
I think we need to just start doxing the billionaires. See how that goes.
Yeah.
Let's get their phone numbers. Start texting them, adding them to spam text bots.
WhatsApp group chats. 2,000 people in them.
Oh God! Have you heard about Bitcoin? This is a new thing. I want to go. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt a little bit here. I want to go back to what Doug was saying, which is, man, this is so depressing.
You can do that.
I kind of understand your what your content is and stuff. I have, since seeing you, watched some of it. I'm really curious how you have managed to not go literally insane watching all of these head bonked individuals constantly. Like, I personally monitor my content
individuals
consumption religiously to like maintain any sense of balance in my life. So I'm really curious, like, how do you take care of yourself? Are you a psychopath, or what's going on there?
Yeah.
Oh, and sorry to play that, Ryan, with your own voice. I keep forgetting that.
No, it's fine.
No, you're not the head bonked individual, but I'm really curious.
I definitely am.
Oh, okay.
I definitely am.
Okay.
It's I'll take it. I do watch a lot of that stuff. Like, I mean, I just exported a video now. People well, you know what's one that's maybe like the hardest to watch now is like I get like higher views on Joe Rogan videos. And the thing is, like, some of Joe Rogan's stuff is just like as junk food kind of watchable if he gets like, some like pyramid UFO person on, like, it's like, okay, like, something fun. Something fun. Something that's just like openly junk food and stupid is like whatever. But like, he had an episode recently where he had on the guy who ran for mayor of LA, I think. And it was just like so unwatchable. Like, it was so boring. And it's like, aren't Joe Rogan's audience members, like half of them are like 17-year-old boys? Like, are they really going to sit through? Oh, his name is Rick Caruso is the guy. And it's like, do they really want to listen to this guy talk?
Guy from CSI Miami?
Yes. Same guy.
He just kept making like puns and stuff and putting his sunglasses on.
Like, he was shade
4 hours.
He was shade tipping the whole time. But like, it was just like, do 17-year-old boys who want to like build muscle lower their body fat percentage really want to listen to this guy talk about why like real estate developers should not have to build low income housing for 3 hours? It's
He's
just
a
like
billionaire. Oh man. He's
a
billionaire, the former chief executive officer of Caruso, an American real estate company. He's the chair of the board of trustees at USC.
So
He was
what?
previously the president of the Los Angeles Police Commission.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you mentioned him on the show, right? Yeah, when you're
we're literally just saying
Joe
that.
Rogan thing. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
talking about him in particular, you said that was already an uploaded one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlistenable. Just like terrible. I mean, like like as far as going crazy, like if I do feel like if I have to listen to one more Joe Rogan podcast, I think I'm gonna snap. Like they're so they're so bad. They're so bad. I mean,
they're so long.
They're so long. I mean, like, you know, I don't know, like who's somebody, like every once in a while he'll get somebody, like he had Quentin Tarantino on. And it was like Quentin Tarantino was just telling his like Hollywood stories. That's fine. That's fine.
Like, I do this.
Yeah. But then he's like, now let me get the most boring propagandist I can find on to, you know, it's terrible.
But does it Sorry. Do you want?
I was just gonna say you're so obviously good natured and everything. Well, you seem like it anyways. I don't know. Maybe you're a monster behind closed doors. But do you ever get like legit like mad? Because sometimes, you know, like I kind of want to see what some people like. You know, I try to stomach Fox News or whatever. Or some of these outlets. Usually, it's through someone like a commentator like yourself. But sometimes, you know, like lately, I've been watching Bill Maher's New Rule, and it genuinely, man, he makes me so mad. Like, do you ever get mad at the stuff you're watching, or how do you have such like a good fucking attitude?
Yeah.
No, like, wow, Bill Maher. I mean,
it's Tim Pool for me. That's what gets me.
Yeah, I mean, some of these guys, like Tim Pool, like originally, like when I first found out about him, I was like, oh, it's this is a well-known political commentator online. Like I didn't really know much about him, and then I started watching it and I was like, holy shit, this is like a 15-year-old, like like it is like a little kid's view of the world, and like 250,000 people are watching just one channel, and then like millions of people are watching the streams. That's great. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, like some of his and some of his stuff, it's like forget like reading whatever, like the long kind of like analytical books that we might like. Just like listen to a 15-minute thing that he's saying. He'll like totally contradict what he's saying. Like I just watched a video. I just watched himself. Yeah, like he's trying to do this, and all of them are doing this now, where it's like they're kind of almost trying to be like almost like conspiracy theorists, like anti-deep state, anti-military kind of guys. In the same video, I just watched this. He's against the kind of like military industrial complex. Same video, or like the next video, he's celebrating how military recruitment numbers are up. It's like, dude, what is going on?
Is gone.
Like, what is going on, man? Like just, you know, it's just like, I don't know. I mean, in the end, like a lot of this stuff comes down to like, there are lots of like vulnerable people out there who I have to remember, like, don't have the advantages that I've had to be able to, like, even just have the time to, like, want to understand how the world works, or, like, read or whatever, you know, and, like, the stuff, really dumb stuff sounds convincing, you know, and it's unfortunate, you know?
But that's also, like, I mean, even just understanding these points of view is what can get you riled up about these people too. It's like that's what gets me. It's like, man, that's how the right wingers, that's how these propagandists and stuff, that's how they can continue on and get under our skin is because we're the ones with empathy and they're not.
Yeah.
That's what sucks. That's like why Tim Pool can have this debate with Sam Cedar, and me speaking 1/10 of my mind gets me suspended on Twitter immediately afterwards because of how I feel about what Tim Pool had to say, because I was so upset, and it's like, man, because I really feel about it, because emotion does matter, because in a way facts do care about your feelings, because feelings
rules
matter.
you because you're a girl.
Yeah, because I'm a little girly girl, because
that's
I'm a real man with children, unlike Tim Pool. And that really gets to him, and as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I was actually bringing it back to books. I do
if I could.
If I may.
Stop.
If I may. Enough with the books, man. We get it.
No, yes, please, more books.
Yeah, I do hear a lot of that stuff. I was just talking to somebody about the manosphere kind of content, and even kind of funny men advice TikTok channels and all that. I did kind of notice watching some of that stuff, you get I've even heard maybe guys like Ben Shapiro say this, where it's they'll say something like going to therapy is not for men, or it basically don't be this sort of kind of performative, don't men are supposed to be stoic and all this. I just picked up this book randomly, and I was reading it with my significant other, actually, and it was it's about how to have a successful relationship and why most romantic relationships fail. And I actually believe what this book says, which is basically all that stuff where people try to hide stuff and kind of don't talk to each other about what bothers them, or how you feel about stuff, is actually the thing that prevents people from having genuine bonds with each other. So if and at the core, the stoic thing that they're trying to convince people that you should have, and that you shouldn't be open about how you really feel, and what that things affect you and all this, that's a very weak mask that people wear, that ends up actually making you lonely, and ends up driving you insane, actually. And no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's interesting, because what we say on here is a lot of things are a bummer for boomers. I feel really bad for boomers, because that ideal of a man or a relationship, but especially the man's role, is to be, stoic, strong, silent type, whatever. And how I feel with my partner, how incredibly close we are, because there aren't the gender roles on it. They're way more of a fully realized person than a lot of these men have been, they really haven't been able to be, because of, access to not just therapy and all that kind of stuff, but really, of course, what the patriarchy makes victims of us all, blah, 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 blah. And just how bad I feel for our parents or whatever. Just how deep you can only get so deep if that is your standard, is that you don't talk about feelings, and that it's that's why you guys all fucking hate each other and want to get divorced, is because you'd let all these resentments build up, instead of saying, that really bothered me that you did that, and giving them the opportunity to be oh, I'm sorry. And then you don't have to just keep going through your life just just suffering through, and being I don't know,
encapsulated,
righteous, and
it is encapsulated. All of that, bringing back to not books, not books, but The Sopranos.
No
with the boomer saying, "What happened to the strong, silent types? What happened to Gary Cooper? And look at that. This guy's in therapy, and it's not working." Right. So it's what happened to the strong, silent types? Yeah, exactly. And it's almost, projecting that to be, that's what we should be. That's what we're striving for. No, that's what you want that's what you want to be the standard to cover up your own insecurities. That's what you want.
So you don't have to
it's like that.
talk about your feelings.
No, actually, that's the good thing. No,
Yeah.
actually, small penises is what means you're smart. Yeah.
It means you're really good in bed. Yeah.
You're able to think a lot more.
Yeah.
All that blood flow problem.
Yeah, exactly. No, actually, short people can fly. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the stuff, it's weird because a lot of the stuff like the macro stuff of it, like it reflects, like the micro and the macro like reflect each other. Like so an example, like I again bring it back to not bringing it back to books, but bringing it back to my
Oh, come on.
my a thought leader, Tim Pool. He was talking about
newsman.
Our favorite newsman. He was talking about like maturity, like people aren't mature anymore, and like people have to grow up and all this stuff. And it's like, well, like, I mean, first of all, you're one to be talking about that, obviously. Like, it's like
high school.
He like somebody who's clearly like in perpetual childhood, but like,
yeah,
it's
truly.
also like a lot of the like macro stuff that we do like feels very childish to me now. Like, even something that's like a big political item like healthcare. Like, I've had to deal with like scheduling doctor's appointments, and like you get these like back and forths where it's like they don't want to tell you whether or not your health insurance covers something, and it's like this is literally like childish. Like, why? Like, you're wasting my time. First of all,
so much time.
We're doing this on behalf of something that's like unjust, basically, and it's like it's babyish. It's just like we're doing this to like baby billionaires. It's just like, I don't know.
We should all be on the same page here.
Yeah,
why aren't we?
Adult baby.
Well, normal. It's weird because like when the United Healthcare thing happened, it kind of like revealed that everyone kind of is on the same page. Like, they have to be like constantly brainwashed to not be on the same page. It's
True.
Like, you know what I mean?
It's effort.
Yeah.
I'm just distracted.
Keep that emotion. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
But I don't know if what I'm saying like totally makes sense, but that's the way I've been. That's the way I've been feeling. It's just like it just feels like we're in a like not grown up responsible society. It's sort of like a.
It's just so stupid, some of the stuff.
Yeah,
it's so
reflected on the interpersonal level.
Yeah, or just the kind of like open scamminess of our like economy, like even at the very top, where it's like these guys who are doing things clearly just to like manipulate a manufactured stock price just seems like so irresponsible and like at some level immature to me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's like we have this.
Yeah. Just a quick look reveals that none of it makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's like so many people, I feel like, are like can be like myself, where it's like, hey, what radicalized you? Or what made you interested in Marxism? It's like, I don't know. I took economics classes in college.
Yeah.
It was, that's all it took. It was just kind of looking at how things worked. That's all it took. It's like, it's the equivalent of,
that's the
what made you an atheist? Well, I read the Bible and went to church.
I do think like Capital is hard to read, and that's why there's like David Harvey has like 20,000 videos of him explaining it and a book explaining it. But if you like, even though it's written in that older language, like the beginning of the book is basically him saying like, hey, you know how you buy things all the time, and there's these things like sweaters and like shoes that you buy, like what's going on behind that? That's pretty much, like that's it. It's like let's look under the hood of these things that we interact with every day, and like what are the conditions under which that's made and all that. And that's like, like that's what blows my mind about that stuff, is that like, we do participate in this stuff all the time, but it's like don't look too close though.
Yeah, the man behind the curtain.
Yeah,
and
the Wizard of Oz.
That's interesting. Like, to put it that way, like if you think about like where your sweater came from, because I read this book that's I think it's The Art of Happiness or whatever. It's like the Dalai Lama, and it's like a practicing compassion and like empathy to think about. And he gives the example of like your shirt and like how many steps it took to get there, like how
the subtle art of not giving a fuck. Dalai Lama.
And it's like all of the people like that grew the cotton and that in the factories and the delivery and blah 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 and all those kinds of things. And he's like, and being grateful, that you're like a part of this, and just like understanding, what you have to go through. And like what you're saying, it's like they don't want you to think about that, because it would be like, oh, ew, gross. People have to like work in sweatshops and like all of like the behind the scenes, like where the sausage gets made, where you want to have like this. The Dalai Lama is like, isn't that beautiful? Like us working together. And it would be if it wasn't being made in like, Bangladesh by a 10-year-old, making your sweater or whatever.
Like Bangladeshis, though. We all know that about you.
I buy second hand, so I don't have to worry about any of that.
Your Goodwill employees are hard workers too.
Yeah. Compassion and capitalism are not really too compatible like that, because it's what am I going to say? Something. Write this down. There is no, and I forget how it goes. There is no ethical consumption under capitalism. Yeah, I made that up.
Ooh,
Actually, just made that up.
You did. Good job.
Well, we said to bring this back to not books
again?
but
yeah,
bring this back to the first episode of Inane Blather. I wish I was more well-read, but I was back then. Adam Smith himself had said, not in Wealth of Nations, but in other writings, it's funny how much he talked about faith in like basic empathy of human beings, and how that played into how we personal economy and stuff like that, and how we treat people. Like literally just writing like, when we see someone struck, like we can feel their pain and stuff like that. And it's like, no, sorry, you give people too much credit, man. It's like
that was really nice that you thought that.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that doesn't play into this scam economy we've got, where you have people, completely exploiting thousands of people to make billions of dollars, let alone just people walking door to door and scamming elderly people out of their Social Security money for fake roofing scams or something like that,
Yeah.
It's not how it works.
Yeah. I mean,
works for me. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you got to make a.
They don't get up on the roof and check,
Yeah.
They're gonna die anyway. So, But well, we should wrap it up.
Wow.
If you have listened this far, then I think you are probably considered.
Should Danae play? I see.
Deranged cultist liars.
Oh, but what?
Oh, I was gonna say I see some guitars and pianos. Do you play?
Absolutely
you play us out?
not.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, play a little outro.
I really appreciate the request, though.
No problem.
Next time.
That was an
I gotta
on the
say,
spot type situation.
My music has been played on the Quament show, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, anytime.
anytime. I got a little bit of a bump on the Inane Blather theme song once, and I was like, oh, I got a couple of comments from fellow listeners of the program.
Yeah, I hope you got some.
viewers.
I hope you got some fans. I imagine you
Yeah.
might have gotten some fans. Hell yeah!
I think we did, because we had more viewers after that, But
there we
I
go.
was kind of proud of that intro, and honestly, I said I wasn't going to do it anymore. I was really upset because we have Donald Trump sound clips through it, which I always thought was kind of funny. And then he won, and I stopped using the intro for a while. It's just, but
too soon.
But I like it too much. I like the music, so I'm sticking with it. It's got a good groove to it, and it was approved of on the Quament show, so we're gonna stick with it.
They approved the groove.
Yes, the groove was approved. What do you have to say for yourself on the way out about the RM
Follow
Brown
me on TikTok and on OnlyFans and
yeah. Personal messages on OnlyFans.
Yeah, get me on I'll do a cameo. I'm just out here, just whatever, just anything. Postmates. I'll deliver whatever food you want me to get. I'm doing fake roofing scams, anything. Whatever. I'm just
reading books.
Not reading, exactly.
Book clubs.
Exactly.
Hey, start a book club.
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
A book club, like a show. I think they used to have one, or used to have one.
Yeah. I gotta do that. But yes, book club sounds good. That's a good motivation to like finish stuff. I feel like so. I'm down. Hit me up on that.
All right. Well, let's get him out of here.
Get him
later.
Out of here. I'm sorry. You're kidding me.
Later, y'all. Thanks for having me.
Okay.